Feels so awkward that I'm on this side
Yeah.
of the conversation when it's you interviewing me.
I felt we needed to do this. It's been at the back of my mind. We hear planners, and you do an amazing job as planners, and the country has quite a number. So I said, why not have a conversation with a
Yeah.
planner, so I know for the people out there who don't know what you guys do. Bring you here and tell us this planning thing. But before we go there, I watched your video and I saw this game you played with Zua last time, and I thought, you know what, let me just try it.
Yeah.
So here it goes. Would you rather have an unlimited budget for your wedding but a tight deadline, or a long engagement period but a limited budget?
Unlimited budget for sure.
Oh,
At least with when you know you have a budget that is limitless, there is more you can do. But when the budget is tight, it's so much you have to compromise on. So unlimited budget.
unlimited budget. Would you rather work with a couple who has a specific and unique idea but may be challenging to work with, or a couple who gives you complete creative freedom but may not have a clear vision?
Complete creative freedom and doesn't have a vision. That's why I thrive. We figure it out together.
Oh,
But when you're controlling, man,
So would you rather someone who has everything set and they want you?
it's okay. They can. But on that question, I would want someone who trusts me and
You and they
allows
don't know
me.
anything. and
Yeah, they allow me to create. I'll thrive.
Would you rather have to coordinate a large wedding with many guests and vendors, or an intimate wedding with only close family and friends, but with many emotional and personal details to consider?
The latter. I love intimate weddings. I love them so much because somehow the personality of the couple
Comes out.
shines through
Yeah.
more. So I'd rather have an intimate wedding.
Over 300. Oh, not 300. Like
300
1,000.
in Kampala is like
It's a small
intimate.
wedding.
Yeah.
Would you rather work with a couple that's very organized and on top of things,
Yeah.
but maybe a bit too controlling? You mentioned that earlier. Or a couple who is very relaxed and trusting, but may not be involved in the planning process?
I love it. The latter. Trust me. Yeah. As long as you trust me, you work well.
Vendor to vendor. Would you rather have to deal with the difficult vendor who is not delivering what they promised, or a difficult wedding party member who is causing tension and stress?
A party member.
Who is causing
Yes.
tension?
Because with a
I've seen
vendor,
drunk bridesmaid.
we can pull you out and take you away. With a vendor, if you can't deliver, it's going to kill the part of the wedding that you have to deliver on.
And I see. Because with planning, if I don't deliver, it comes back.
You
to as the
mess
planner.
it, yes, because I'm the fallback person. So yeah.
All right. Would you rather have a wedding where the focus is on the party and celebration, or a wedding where the focus is on the ceremony and romance?
Oh, romance. I'm such a hopeless romantic. The romance, yeah.
Would you rather work on a wedding that is a complete surprise for the guests, or a wedding that is a complete surprise for the bride and groom?
I think for the guests.
The guests.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you want them to come and then be surprised at what you as a couple has decided to do for them. When it's a surprise for the bride and groom, it can go either or. They'll either like it or not like it, and could be a disaster.
Oh, speaking of, still on that, you've been a planner for a while.
Yeah.
What are there's many love stories in there? What is your favorite part of the process?
Honestly, it's the joy.
The joy.
The joy of the couple. You know, a lot goes into planning a wedding. what the guests see on the wedding day is just a manifestation of
Overload
everything that happened before the wedding, the hours, the emotions, the time. So when the couple comes on the wedding day and everything is just unfolded and they're happy and I see the joy in their faces, 10 out of 10. Makes me so happy.
What's your favorite part about the planning process?
Favorite part? Getting to connect with these couples.
Okay.
For me, it is very important that I connect with them. So when we develop a relationship and start to put everything we need for the wedding, it's amazing. We get to see what your personality is like. We get to see what you'd like to add to the wedding, how you want it to shine, the different parts of it that you'd like to focus on. Yeah, it's just that connection I have with my couples. I've been so fortunate that, I've connected with my couples.
How do you mention couples, different people, but different.
Yeah.
How are you able to personalize experiences? So my wedding, for example, doesn't look like Hakram's wedding.
Yeah.
Because we're different people.
So the beauty about me is with experience, I'd like to think I'm now a good judge of character. So it is important for me to have a consultation with them.
Okay.
So when they reach out, I meet with them. And once we connect on energy level, like energy, it doesn't lie. Once the energy is like meshed, so in sync, I know they're the couple for me. Because planning a wedding is very personal. I like to say it's very personal. Because we go through the emotions together. We go through the ups, the downs, everything in between. So just going through that together, that is it for me.
It helps you.
It helps me get to know who they are, the essence of who they are. There are those I'll meet and they say, I love something intimate. I love something glam, glitz. It's okay. We have to do what reflects who you are. I want people to go to the wedding and come and say, oh, this is so like this person. This is so like the bride. This is so like the groom.
Yeah.
So don't lose yourself in the trends that are coming up or in what auntie or cousin did. Just look at what both of you as a couple would like and focus there.
Take me through your booking process. How far in advance? I've seen. I think online.
Yeah.
Where some people prefer not to book events way in advance.
Yeah.
Then some are okay.
Yeah.
It's also now photographer blogs and chats online.
Yes.
People are comfortable booking way before, like two years.
Yeah.
I personally think wouldn't book 3 years in advance. 2 years in advance.
Yeah.
How is it on your end as a planner?
For Izuba, it is 1 year max. Yes, we try not to book more than a year as well. A lot changes. A lot that goes into production of your wedding, into us and, pricing and all these things and experience and the team and, all the nitty-gritties.
Yeah.
So it's minimum, if you can, 6 months. I know there are those who can book me like 3 months, which is okay because by nature of, I'd like to say culture, we're not really like people abroad who get engaged for a long period of time. So people get engaged and they'll wait for like a year and a half and then start planning. So for me it would be a year.
Okay.
And 6 months, hopefully 6 months to a year.
All right. Give me a few tips for some of those couples that feel a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I've had friends in the past that they propose to them and now they have to plan this whole thing and they have no idea. And you find that that's why sometimes they the weddings I used to go to, you'd fail to see individuality in them because someone is getting married, but they're using the template of their friend that got married
or their family member
that got married, and it's quite overwhelming. Yeah. So, any tip for a bride like that, besides booking a planner?
I'd say, first of all, being overwhelmed is normal. Don't feel like you are running out of time. You might be, but it's okay. Just take a deep breath. That's number one. Take a deep breath. It is perfectly normal to be overwhelmed. A lot will go into this, so feel all those feelings.
Feel all those feelings.
Yeah, don't try to fight it.
Okay.
Just feel overwhelmed. Breathe, and then reconvene with your person and remember your why. Remember your why. Why are you doing this?
Married?
Why are you getting married? You can get too caught up in how the wedding should go and which vendors we need to get and where we're getting money from, and then you forget the true reason for the wedding is you.
Yeah.
You and your partner getting married, being happy, looking, forward to your wedding. So just it's okay. Take a deep breath. It's okay. Everything will work out the way the way
that
it has
brings me to budgets. We'll go to the nitty-gritties. So, speaking of budgets, weddings are expensive in this country.
Tell me about it.
But what are some of the things that you'd advise a bride to consider still looking around budget?
Yeah.
Not to compromise on the quality of their wedding.
Yeah.
But have a sensible wedding and weddings are expensive in this. Where's my camera? Weddings are expensive.
Yes, they are.
What are some of the things that someone can do to manage,
Yeah.
some of those things?
I think, first of all, manage your expectations. Yes, I won't lie, weddings are expensive. Go in knowing that weddings are expensive. Because when you're in denial, you reach there and everything will just piss you off. So weddings are expensive, but that does not mean those who do not have, budgets of how much should not get married. And then I would say, make a wedding you can afford. Don't get into the pressures of this, society and try to make a wedding you cannot afford, because the last thing you need is debt after the wedding. You can't be paying for a wedding once the wedding is already done. It's crazy. It derails you. It derails your progress, derails your marriage, because you're just paying for a wedding and the wedding ended and you're getting into the marriage and life is happening
fast.
So fast. So I would say, have a budget. If you're planning for a wedding, first plan for it financially. Get the money you need. Even before you go into meetings, committees, fundraising, have money of your own to start with.
I don't wait for a launch.
You can. I don't shame people who do launches. You can, but have money to start with. Don't be on zero and wait. I would say at least get something. Get like 70% if you can. And start planning for it and hiring vendors you can afford. Please hire vendors you can afford.
Where's your camera?
Please hire vendors you can afford. Yes. So budgets are tricky. Budgets are those sensitive aspects of the wedding people neglect to think about or talk about. But you need to have an honest conversation with your partner, with your finance, Is it your parents, your friends, your family? Have an honest conversation with them and see what you can afford and do a wedding you can afford.
Because my next question was going to be, what advice would you give a couple that's starting their planning process?
Yeah.
Feels like you've already answered that.
Yes.
Is there anything more to add, maybe?
I think lastly, I'd say would be get vendors you can connect with. I know I've done videos about this, and it's part of like an oxymoron. People are like, yes, we want to trust them, but then also they're like, we are scared to trust them because we end up trusting them and then they don't deliver. So your gut, listen to your gut. And yeah, do your research, guys. Do your research. You know vendors who are in the market. You probably know someone who has worked with them.
Yeah.
Could be a relative, a friend, a distant relative, a distant friend, but there's always someone who has worked with them. Find out their experience. I'm not saying their experience will be your experience. Once you also get that, meet the vendor, judge for yourself, and yeah, pick vendors that will align with your vision, align with what you have in mind for your day. Don't go to vendor A because you want vendor Z to do what vendor A is doing. It's just going to, you'll be disappointed. Okay. So in a sense, yeah, get people who get you.
Who get you?
Yes, who get you. I've seen couples who say, I love, I don't know, maybe an African theme. And we can try and incorporate that in their decor. You're seeing people who are foodies, they are crazy about beautiful food, cuisines, and, they have very refined palettes and they don't have like normal buffets and stuff. Man, hire caterers who can do that for you. Find those points of your wedding that reflect who you are. And go with that. That would make you happy. At least you'll sit on your high table, look at all your guests, and you'll have that feeling of satisfaction that you got a bit of what you like. Even if it's not all of it, could be a tiny bit, could be the music. If you love music, could be pictures. There are people who are willing to pay top dollar for beautiful pictures, and they will. So, yeah.
We had a wedding last year, I think December, which was beautifully executed, and I could see the bride in everything.
Yeah,
I met the bride once. We reached our wedding. There's band this side, there's an orchestra the other side, and then people had when people came and sat, they never left.
Wow.
Only left to, I think, dance much later.
Yeah.
So it was, I think, a 5-course meal or something.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
like, I imagine
fine dining.
It was beautiful to watch. It was like, oh my God.
Which is not the norm
Which is not the norm.
Yeah.
This whole time we're there and my boys are like, then we see waiters come in and I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful.
It's so cute.
Yeah, so I hear you when you say that.
Yeah.
I wanted to speak to trends. Trends, we all know trends come and go. But what are some of the things you see couples loving now? And
trends.
Is there any particular trend you're excited about right now?
Right now, fast looks. I love fast looks. Could be fast look with your partner, fast look with your parents, fast look with your entourage. I love fast looks. If you can, from my experience with the brides that have done fast looks, it does not take away from the special moment of you maybe walking down the aisle or meeting your bridal party after dressing up. It does not take away from that. So, yeah, I love the fast look trend. I hope it doesn't go away. But yes, I'm obsessed. I try as much as possible to put it on the table for the couples that come to me. And I think also as a photographer, you can agree that it's just one of those moments that you can beautifully capture.
And there's just something about the couple having, the weddings are, again, we mentioned the whole time from the preparations to the build up to the wedding is a lot that is happening. Yeah. And sometimes the morning of, again, there's many things that are happening. You have hair, you have makeup. The bride, which is supposed to be her most important day and most beautiful, but there's a lot happening. So for me, I think I love more about the first look is the fact that they get
just
time
a moment to just breathe and take it in.
I know. It's what I love about it. I always ask. We sometimes suggest that people do them. Some are like, no, I want my man to sing in
which
church,
is okay. Which is also okay.
Agreed. It's beautiful. But then sometimes you are challenged when, let's say, church is at 3 p.m.
Yes.
And they
and
put
you have
the reception
the whole
5 p.m.
morning to
so
early
you have
afternoon.
Many hours wasted. People can't look at each other because they want to see each other.
In church.
Again, you have to respect that this is what they want. But then after church, because if church is at 3,
that means
and
they'll go
reception
straight
is at
to
5,
reception.
then there's no time for So I hope it stays. I hope more people embrace
it stays. The other thing I like with the first look that I've seen and also encouraged my couples to do is the private vows. I know. Beautiful. Yeah. So beautiful. If you can, tell your photographer that that's what you want to do.
You don't have to see your husband or wife. Just...
You can even do it like facing the other side.
Yeah, so,
it's really beautiful.
So they can see you for the first time in church. Makes sense.
I love it.
All right. Love it. So, wedding planner. I don't know if my grandmother would know what
understand. Don't worry, my dad doesn't get it either yet.
So what's the role of a wedding planner?
Okay, so that's a good question. I have people who will come to me and say, I want a wedding planner. But when you actually talk to them, you get to realize
they need a decorator.
Yes. they confuse this role. So let me try and put it in simple terms. Okay. A wedding planner is a person you hire to manage everything concerning your wedding from first to finish, from A to Z. So they orchestrate all the details of the wedding from before the wedding. So from the initial stages of you have no vendors, you have no venue, you have nothing. It's a blank canvas. And that's what us at Izuba specialize in. We specialize in the full planning service. So in the full planning service, you come, we sit down, okay, please don't come until you have a date. But yes, first get engaged or get a date. And once you have a date, we start to figure out what your style is, start to figure out who you are, and then start to hire vendors in line with that, come up with a budget, come up with a timeline, come up with a payment schedule. Some people forget to pay their vendors. Yeah. You need to pay your vendors. You can't be so distrusting and say, I will pay them on the day of. There's some people who you can't afford to just pay on the day of.
Yeah.
They have teams to support, teams to pay for. You need to pay them before the wedding and have an understanding with them, get their payment terms. There are those who want to be paid the day of, which is okay. So we handle all those things in there up to the day of the wedding. Now, the day of the wedding, we manage your day. So we coordinate all the aspects that were planned before the day and put them together. And it's like a perfect melody. So here you were like putting knots together. Let me put it in perspective of like baking a cake. I'm not a baker, forgive me, but you need ingredients to bake a cake. But at the end of the day, when you see the cake come out of the oven and it is beautiful and tasty and fresh, you don't know what the person had to do initially of beat the eggs, beat the butter, put the melted butter, put the sugar, put the flour. All those things are what we are planning in the initial stage to get the finished product of the beautiful cake at the end of the wedding day. So everything we have done initially is what manifests on the day of. So now that brings me to another term people confuse, which is
wedding
coordinator.
Ask that. What's the difference? First of all, before you go to the coordinator, what's the biggest misconception couples have about wedding planning?
Wedding planning, And I need to be very wise. But yes, biggest misconception is thinking all you need to do is just book 3 vendors, 4 vendors, and your day is here. It's deeper than that. You need to, what that would be would just be sourcing vendors, which is just a tiny drop in the ocean of planning. So that's the biggest misconception. They're like, yeah, all you need is just call that vendor, send a budget, send a quotation, and that's it. No, it's deeper than that. These are people who need to find like a decorator. They need to go and have a site visit, look at the place, give their opinions, give their insight on what they think about the place, what you need, the weather, all that. Think about the contingencies, time of travel, all that is in there. And it's a lot of mental work that people don't understand. I think they understand to a certain degree, and that's how you find brides who are very stressed out and they don't want anything to do with the wedding until they pay someone. And what they're paying for is like peace of mind. They're paying for someone to fight for you as you are out working, doing your 9 to 5. You know, someone is fighting for your vision, what you want for your day. So, yeah, it's not just putting vendors together.
What's the difference between a wedding planner
and a wedding coordinator? Okay. So a wedding coordinator comes later. They just come to coordinate your day. Usually they come like a month to the wedding or a week to the wedding, and they find like you have done all the work. So all they have to do is make sure the vendors show up when they need to show up, and you are following your program. And that's it.
Oh, so you did everything. I, as a client, have done everything.
Yes, I've done everything. All I need is someone to manage my day. Yeah, and that's it. Oh. So you will find a lot of people call themselves planners, yet they are actually coordinators. And yet the two are very different. I won't lie though, because we are still welcoming the idea of a planner. You'll find couples who come to us once they've already booked a couple of vendors, which is okay. But you also find that certain things were not properly aligned. Like they were just passing town, went for lunch at a hotel and said, oh, this is a nice place to get married. And then they go and book. But when you go down to the nitty-gritties, they're telling you need your generator, you need you need power, you need you're not supposed to be there at this time. Your wedding is supposed to end at 9 p.m. and you didn't know all these things, but because you looked at it and said, oh, very beautiful venue, let me book. But because we are planners and we have experience, we are able to tell you, okay, you might want this venue, but they don't allow this decor in in their halls. They don't do this. They, all the good stuff. Yeah.
Oh wow. What you keep saying we at Izuba?
Yes.
It's not a one-person team.
No, it's not a one-woman show. We pride ourselves in people coming with their beautiful gifts, and we put it all together. So I have a team, and we work together. The people that you see running around on the day off, if you see any of them, say good job. Tell them you're proud of them, because they do a lot of heavy lifting before the wedding. And yeah, I'm not a one-woman show. I would be crazy. I know people who are, but you need the help. Sometimes you just need to delegate. That's why I also tell the brides, if you can't afford a planner, at least pay for a coordinator. Okay. And also, don't be deceived that a venue coordinator is a wedding coordinator. So you see how you go to a wedding, a hotel. And then they have staff. Yes. And they'll say, oh, this is the site coordinator. They'll be with you the day of. You need to know they're just representing the interests of the hotel. Not you. They're not going to give you a timeline. They're not going to call your vendors or... So which we work hand in hand with them because they help us with the good stuff of like food and drinks and all these things. So a wedding planner is different. A wedding coordinator is different. A venue coordinator is different.
What was the most memorable wedding you've planned? It's a very unfair question.
Yes, it is very, very unfair. Is it bad that I'll say my own wedding? Is it very biased?
It's safe.
It's safe. Yes. I was those brides that planned their own wedding, which I don't recommend. Yes. But yes, I think the most memorable wedding I have planned is my wedding, and that is very biased, but I'm sorry, but yes. My wedding. I really wanted something that wasn't the norm. Something intimate, and something personal. I think one of the biggest things I told my partner is I wanted to be able to see my guests as I'm having the wedding. So I didn't want a high table. I didn't feel disconnected from them. And because I'm very introverted by character, I wanted to just sit and see my dad, see my siblings, see my cousins, see my husband, see our friends and family. And I'm glad I managed to pull it off. I'm praying for all my Banyankole relatives, and I don't know if that will happen for you, but I'm praying for you. But yes, please, if you have an intimate wedding, you're very welcome. I'll be more than happy to plan it. By intimate, I mean 100 and below. 80 and below. Yeah.
I feel like we've touched on most things that I personally wanted to.
You needed insight
on.
Yeah.
And I speak for many people, I want to believe.
Yes.
It's been a good conversation.
It has.
It's been a good conversation.
It has been weird being on this side because I'm the interviewer, not the interviewee.
Okay.
So next time your turn.
All right. I would love that. I would love that. Thank you so much for listening to us, for watching us. If there's any questions you have about planning, wedding planning,
please ask us in the comments.
In the comments.
Yeah.
We just might come back and have another conversation.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is good. Thank you so much. We appreciate having you.
You're welcome.
Disclaimer, this is my wife.